Welcome to the Smart Connector, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs be the leader their ideal people love. Build your influence, wealth and success, attract others for all the right reasons, and become a smart connector, the architect of your amazing business and life. I've known Harry Sardinas for a few years, and I was so impressed the first time I met him with his confidence, his poise, and his obvious ability to just hold a room spellbound. So that's the thing really that Harry specialises in. He helps train thousands of people worldwide to present effectively and develop their leadership and public speaking skills. And I really hope you enjoy this telephone interview between us. Welcome to the Smart Connector podcast. My name's Jane Bayler and I'm your host. And today I'd like to welcome Harry Sardinas. Harry's the founder of Entrepreneurs Are Leaders, Speakers Are Leaders, Millionaire Speakers and TopCoach.org.uk. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you very much, Jane, for inviting me to your podcast.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So just a little bit more about Harry. So he's trained thousands of people globally to overcome their fear of public speaking and become confident on stage so they can share their message with the world, contribute to society and create a movement of inspired fans for their products or services. His international 24-hour live program Speakers Are Leaders was listed in the new Tycoon app as one of the world's best courses, alongside Gary Vaynerchuk, Dr. John DeMartini and Robert Kiyosaki. Wow, that's quite an achievement, Harry. He's also the author of multiple books and was invited to speak about writing on stage at the National Achievers Congress in front of more than 2,000 people. Finally, Harry is a prolific property investor, achieving financial freedom through property within the first years of coming to London enabled him to pursue his vision of entrepreneurial success. So, Harry, it's truly great to have you here and welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's get into it by talking about speaking, because speaking is such a great way to connect with your audience, isn't it?
Yes, I think that public speaking is without a doubt, the most powerful skill that a human being can have. In today's market, if you are an entrepreneur, one of the most powerful ways to expand your business is through public speaking. The reason for that is because there is a new concept that entrepreneurs have to embrace in these days, which is the concept of personal brand. So there is, before you can get away only with your corporate brand. So you can have a high corporate brand and you can have a successful company. Today, the people need more. People want to know who's the person behind that company.
Yes.
And the person behind that company, how to speak and how to tell the story, how to be able to go to a stage and do a great keynote speech and talk about the company on stage. And this is one of the reasons why even on 2018, last year, we spoke in front of more than 10,000 people in Peru, Mexico, Singapore, United Kingdom. And next month, we're going to Dubai with the Speakers Are Leaders, which is a program that allows entrepreneurs, gold medalists, coaches, and normal individuals, housewives, to actually communicate more effective. So if you're an entrepreneur, they can attract more business to you and you can perform on a stage and expand your business. But even if you're a housewife, you enhance that communication with your children, with your family, because let's face it, we speak in public every single day.
Yes, particularly with social media, to a certain extent, everybody has a personal brand, right? Even babies often.
Yeah.
And puppies. Yeah. Of course, they don't have the opportunity to take advantage of your coaching services yet. You train globally, Harry. So how do you do this?
Well, it depends. Sometimes we get booked to speak. Actually, yesterday we are in conversation to go and train Coca-Cola, the executive of Coca-Cola next year, and work with different type of people. So we do here in London, in Singapore, mainly we do these big events where the public just attend, and it's a mix of attendees from we have from lawyers, leaders from any religious background, politicians, employees, and what we do at the speakers and leaders there when it's open to the public is we focus and help them to overcome the fear of public speaking. That's the first step of the 2 days workshop.
Yes.
Because the fear of public speaking is the biggest fear in the planet. I think that surveys have shown that people prefer to die than to speak in public. So, in the end of the day, we address that and we solve that by the Saturday morning of our workshop. The fear of public speaking is gone.
Right.
It's a workshop. We take them through a process. We have done it international several times. We get rid of that fear. Then something magical happen, because if you have that fear of speaking and it's gone, then what happened is that fear, it was not showing up only in public speaking. It was showing up in every single area of your life. It was showing up in your bank account, in your relationship, at work, everywhere. So once this fear is gone, you are extremely powerful, because a new you start to go to shop. We have people that has attended to our workshops that, for example, they're selling yachts, and they've been 1 year without selling any yachts, and then they go to our workshop Saturday and Sunday, and then on Monday they calling us that they sold 6 yachts in one shot. What is possible if the course was about speaking and have nothing to do with selling the yacht? But the truth is that the empowerment that person got out of get away of the fear, now they are more confident to take the phone and make that phone call that's gonna close that deal.
Wow. So what you're saying is that overcoming a fear of public speaking, because it's such a universal fear, has a knock-on effect in many other areas of your life in terms of achieving confidence and empowerment, as you said.
Yes. We saw it hundreds and hundreds of times, and it doesn't matter. We have experiences and testimonials like this in every single country that we go.
That's incredible. Do you have a special secret that you wanted to share with our listeners if they can't make it to one of your events soon?
Well, the public speaking, the main secret, and we have exercises in our workshop where we do this together, is that it's about the meaning, because people think that they're afraid of public speaking, but the reality is what they are really afraid is about the unknown, about what people are going to think about them.
Yes.
And what if they go blank on the stage? So we do this exercise very simple. I usually I usually ask the audience and say, okay, who never has spoken in public? Raise your hand. Maybe 5-10 people raise their hand, and then I call them to the stage, and then I do this. After they are on the stage, I tell them, okay, tell them to the public, what's your name? What's the name of your sister? What's the name of your family? Of your father? What's the name of your mom? And then they start to speak actually in public. They tell to everyone, the name of my mom is X. The name of my son is Y. And my son is 22 years old. And then they start in public. And then I do this with all of them. And we arrive to a conclusion that why, if they never spoke in public and they are very scared to speak in public, why they're actually speaking on the spot? And the reason is because the question I am asking to them, they know the answer very well. They know the answer on top of their head. So there is no fear for them to actually communicate to the audience how the age of the son or the name of the mom, because that knowledge is on top of their head and they are certain that is correct.
Yes.
And there is no nobody will judge.
Yeah.
So in the end, that's a conclusion out of this exercise. After we conclude that it's not about public speaking, it's about the unknown. And then the second conclusion is that when it comes to public speaking, the most important is practice. Is public speaking is a skill.
Yes.
It's like driving. The more you do it, the better you become.
Yes.
As long as you prepare and you prepare your speeches and you prepare your presentation, you're gonna be okay and you're gonna deliver a powerful event. That's why we create this group. We call it Millionaire Speakers Network. We have one big team in Singapore, another big team in London, where we practice every last Thursday of the month. We practice and they get trained in public speaking. Some of them, most of them, they are property multimillionaires that they need to talk more about in public because they are raising finance for big projects.
Yes.
They are actually presenting and teaching some of the strategies. So what we do basically, we practice that presentation and we refine the presentation again and again and again. So when they have the opportunity to do the presentation somewhere else, now that presentation is on top of their head and they can focus on what is really important, which is the connection with the public.
Yes. That's really, really interesting, Harry. And I just wanted to pick up on something that you said about when you get people up on stage and you ask them to, first of all, talk about the names of their family members, for example, and how they feel a very low level of anxiety around that because these are facts and they feel very comfortable with the fact. Do you think that effective public speaking is linked to certainty and confidence around your subject matter?
Exactly. When you're certain about your topic and you know your topic very well, there is no way that you're gonna have that fear. If that fear still is there, is only for a meaning that you bring into the occasion, but not because of the talk itself. Because when you know your talk, you will be able to perform without a doubt, 100%. All you have to do, if still that fear is there, it's a process that I help them to do all the time. Sometimes in the big conference, I was invited to speak along Les Brown in January 2018. And it happened to me several times that I go to this big conference with a lot of people are speaking, and then one of the speakers come to me and tell me, Harry, are you the guy that helped the people to overcome the fear of public speaking? I say, yes, why? I say, no, I'm terrified about speaking. I say, yeah, well, that's okay, don't worry. Say, no, but the problem is that I'm speaking after you. That happens several times. So very quickly we run to the process. We take them to the backstage and we do some exercises. We do some jumping. We do some stretching. And the whole point is to change the state. Because when the people are with the state of fear, they will stay in this state and they will bring that to the stage. So very quickly we do some movement, some exercise, and then we work with that person there and then to make sure that he move from the state of fear to the state of action, right? And then we do some breathing exercises. The reason for that is because breathing, number one, is gonna relax the person, is gonna keep it calm. And the second is that the oxygen have to go to your brain, because if you don't breathe properly, the amount of oxygen that will go to your brain won't be enough, and that's one of the reasons that you can go blank and you forget everything. Sometimes when you forget the things on the stage, it's just because you're just not breathing properly. And like this, and after you do some movement and you do some breathing, then again, when you face the audience, you need to have a powerful opening. So if you say good morning everyone and then you open your arms, this powerful opening will actually give you that little push that you need in order to start your talk. Most difficult when it comes to stage, it's the first 2, 3, maximum 5 minutes.
Yes.
After that, you actually start. People usually start to connect with the audience. The first 5 minutes are the most challenging. So this one, the first 5 minutes, is something that you have to practice a lot and to be prepared, because this is the most challenging time is this first 5 minutes. But as I said, it's not a big deal. We do it, for example, now we have 7 and 8 of December, our speakers and leaders course here in London, and we put 100 people there, 100, and they never spoke in public. Some of them very, very successful entrepreneurs. Some of them, they're already doing a lot of public speaking. I want to take it to the next level, and we bring everybody to the stage 4 times.
Yes.
I said that our workshop is not a speaking workshop; it's a listening workshop. So speakers and leaders is a speaking workshop. So we take 100 people there through this process, and the Saturday morning, what we do, we help them to overcome the fear of public speaking. Then Saturday afternoon, we go to a process to teach the crowd how to tell their story. The reason for that is because you have to become a great storyteller and a great entertainment if you want to make your point across, and if you want the audience to like you and trust you. Nobody will buy anything from you. And I always say, every time that you are on the stage, you are selling.
Yes.
Either you're selling a product or you're selling an idea. So every time that you're on the stage, you are selling. And the most effective way of selling an idea of a product is through stories.
Yes.
Because the story will keep the audience engaged, and the stories will create this level of connection between you and the audience. And if you are a great storyteller, only with that, for example, that's all you need to do keynote speeches. We have friends that's all what they do. They do keynote speech, and they get invited 2 to 3 times a week to speak at different conferences, and they get paid 5,000, 10,000 pounds per conference. And all they do in that conference is tell their stories.
Yes.
People
Because
pay you for your story. Yeah.
I mean, I love this concept because I'm very, very big on stories. I'm very into I come from a creative brand background myself. So I recognize the power of stories. They actually bypass the logical mind and they go straight into our imagination and our emotions, don't they? Which is why they are so powerful. So any tips on a good story, Harry?
Yes. The stories, they have a process. If you are able to follow that process, then you can elaborate a very powerful story. For example, let's put as example the Lion King, right?
Yes.
You have these, how the stories are made in general, how the company create this story. All these stories, they're following a pattern.
Yeah.
The pattern is, at the beginning, everything is okay, right? So let's say that the Lion King, so the baby king is born. So we have everything is fine, everything is perfect, right?
Yep.
Then as the story move on, something is missing. So what is missing is that now the brother of Mufasa, Scarf, now he's jealous because of the baby lion was born. So now we move from everything is okay to something is missing. Something is not right. Then after something is missing, then we move to the drama. There is always a breaking point, a big drama that happens in the story. So the big drama there is when Scarf kill Mufasa, kill this big lion, right? So this is a big drama. After the drama, there is something that we call it the search. The character start to look for something, start to look for some answers, get a little bit lost, and is looking for something until you reach the point of the turnaround. So the turnaround of the story is when after that drama, you take some action and you turn around the situation. Yes. I think
Yes.
the story of the Lion King is when the monkey find out that he's alive, right?
Yes.
And then from the turnaround of the story, then you move to a new future, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's like a curve, right? It's one curve where everything is okay, something is missing, a big drama, a turnaround, and then the new future. With the only thing that we have to add as a public speaker to that pattern that Hollywood and the movies relate is the point of the story, because in the end we are teaching and we want to teach a lesson to the audience. I always said that friend of mine, I'm a Marine, told me this long time ago. He told me, Harry, never tell a story without a point. Never tell a point without a story. So basically, when you are a public speaker, you are a great storyteller, but what is the lesson behind your story? What do you want to convey to the audience? What do you want the audience to learn
Yes.
through the story?
Yes.
This is very, very important.
It's so powerful, isn't it? I just, so I love storytelling, Harry, because it just has an impact on an audience, doesn't it? It brings out attention and interest, doesn't it?
And connection,
And
like I said,
connection, absolutely.
in the end of the day, nobody will buy anything from you if no product, no an idea, if they don't like you and trust you.
Definitely.
You are vulnerable when you talk about your life. When you talk, like for example, a point of your life that everything was okay, but then something was missing. Then you have a big drama that happened to you, and then you convey to the audience how you turn around the situation, what is the new future that you have, and the lesson of the story. When you take an audience through that process, the level of rapport that you create with that audience is unbelievable. The audience start to connect with you. Is you start to look everybody have the eyes shining. I actually trained a group of people from speakers and leaders to tell the story in the Millionaire Speakers Network, and we did an event like 2 weeks ago. We invited the billionaire founder of Simi Sarai, Haluko Kutu, to speak at that event, and with another two six figures multimillionaires we were talking about business escalation in that event, and our team were there, all of them, to tell their story. And I saw several times people crying in the audience. They were sharing the story for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and each of them, and I'm looking at the audience, and some on the audience again and again, some of them are crying.
Wow.
That exactly when you see that effect, two things happen when, if you telling your story and you see that some of the audience is crying, or you see that the audience break an applause without you being asking for it, the
Yes.
audience spontaneously break a big applause, that means that you're doing good job.
Yes.
Yeah, that means that you're connecting with the audience, and this is what you need to look for. If you tell your story and the audience doesn't clap at you spontaneously 2 or 3 times, or if we go to a lower point, I don't think they're crying, but at least you can see that they are touched and moved by your story. Then what happens is that the way that you're telling your story is too plain. There is no descriptive language. There are some different elements. Like for example, it's not the same that you say, well, I crossed that bridge, right?
Yes.
It's not the same thing. And I said I crossed the bridge. That when I faced this bridge, all the path was white. Down the river was really blue and beautiful. And at the end of the bridge, after 100 meters, it was the end. You get the idea? So if you said I crossed the bridge, that's very plain. But if you describe, and you can share the smell, the colors, the environment. You bring a descriptive language to relate
Yes.
to the stories. Now the audience, they are in the story with you, right?
Yes.
It's important to bring the audience to the story with you. It doesn't have the same effect when you said I was 5 years old and I was bullying in the school. It's not the same impact that if you say, for example, imagine that you are 5 years old and getting bullying at the school again and again. That kid was me. Now that is different because you bring in the audience to the story with you. You bring
Yes.
inside the story. So all those elements, the scripting, there is more techniques obviously about storytelling, but just to share these two with you. If you bring the audience to the story with you, now the audience is living this story. They are inside the story. If you're walking in the forest, they are working on the forest with you. If something happened, they are doing it with you, so they are inside the story, and definitely it has more impact and more engagement.
Wow, I'm actually really interested in creative writing. I've done quite a lot of creative writing myself. I totally get that, and I totally get how important it is to involve the senses and to actually bring the experience of storytelling to life through a very rich description. So thank you so much for sharing that. So Harry, let's get on to your story because you have a very interesting story as well. So I'm sure that our listeners would love to hear it because you originally come from Cuba, don't you?
Yes, yes.
So tell us your story, Harry.
Well, my story, I came from Cuba. Cuba is a wonderful country, amazing. Everything there is sunny. There is always summer there. So it's a beautiful country. Everybody stay positive there and very, very happy. But then I decided that I wanted more. So eventually, after I finished university, I got a degree of chemical engineering, and I decided that I wanted more. So I went to live to Spain for 5 years, and after I came here to London. When I arrived here, I mean, I was very excited because this city is amazing. I saw the buses very busy, people from everywhere. So something that I never experienced before. So I was very excited. However, I was facing a big challenge because my level of English it was very, very low, close to zero. And well, I'm still I'm still working on the case. I'm still doing a lot of grammar mistakes, but so it was close to zero, nothing, very, very low. So it was very challenging. Every day I'm throwing CVs all over Tottenham Court Road. It used to be a lot of computer shops back then there, and I throw hundreds of CVs again and again, and nothing is happening. 1 month down the line, I already spent a lot of money in rent, printing CVs, and nothing is happening. Second month, again. And then I'm becoming desperate because all the money that I brought from Spain, around 5,000 euros, they're already gone.
Yes.
I don't even have money to go back to Spain. I don't want to give the pleasure to my mom because she told me, you're gonna go there, you're gonna spend all the money, you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna come back to Spain to me again.
Oh no.
Oh my god. And I'm just facing my mom again. Mom, no, you were right. Oh my god, I couldn't. So I'm fighting to make that work. Then, my belash, there is a McDonald's there, and I was walking around there, and they had put a sign that they said, "I'm hiring. We are hiring." And I saw, Harry, this is your moment. This is your moment because McDonald's they take anybody. So if you flipping burger, so I'm anybody, so I'm amazing to go there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was desperate. That was the word, desperate. And then I go there. I do the interview, and I got rejected.
Oh no.
And it was huge, huge setback for me because remember that I was almost crying then in Oxford Street. all the people walking, everybody happy, laughing, and I felt so lost.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm not even good enough to work in McDonald's. What's wrong with me?
Oh, terrible.
I really want to stay here. I really wanted to stay, but that was horrible. So then I don't know. Somehow, when you are on dock in this moment, you find the strength to stand up and keep going. So I say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying until I can last, right? Sometimes when things are not working, you have to take a different path. I remember that I was throwing CV again and again, but it was through Tottenham Court Road and Oxford Street. So I said, you know what? Let me try to go close to Houston Station. And then I was there, and then in Houston Station, they were hiring for big company there. The name is SSP. They run a lot of franchises inside the station, and they were looking for a lot of people to work. And that's how I did it, to the rate of 5.75 per hour. After 2 months of hard search, I find my first job, which is in the Pub Britannia. Doesn't exist anymore, but in the Pub Britannia in Houston Station. And then I go there, but and I started to work, and again I was very very happy. But the truth was that my work it was 5.75. I was making 5.75 per hour, and this job only, it won't be enough for me to pay the rent and to pay the £5,000 that I already spent.
Yeah.
I had to make that money back. So the first thing that I did in Houston Station, I asked my manager and said, I need more hours. But this is what you do when you've been told, if you want more money, then that's what you do. You work more. So I went there straight away, and I asked to the manager after 2 months. His name was Paul. I said, Paul, please, I need more hours. I need more hours because I have to pay more bills. So he told me, okay, there is below it was by the same franchise, the Pub Britannia, another franchise, it was Threshers. It used to be a wine shop. It doesn't exist anymore. I haven't seen them anymore, but back then they were selling wines. So the manager Paul told me, okay, Harry, Monday to Friday you can work in the pub. Saturday and Sunday you can work in the wine store downstairs inside the station. Because everything belonged to the same company, it was okay. So there I was working from Monday to Sunday.
Right.
8 hours. I will arrive work, and my only hope was that I wish that someone in the afternoon doesn't show up so I can do the shift as well.
Yes.
That was my only dream every time that I go to work. And so for me, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was my lucky days, because for sure people won't show up to work, so I can cover the shift. So it was good for me. I was again working Saturday and Sunday, and still even working all those amount of hours, I was in the position still that I was spending more than I was making. I was trapped there. But an incident happened there that changed my life forever. And what happened was that my dad got cancer. And my dad's always been like a brother to me. My dad is a kind of person that when I ask, Dad, do you have any money? He will open his wallet. Still, he does it until today. And he will give me all the money that he has in his wallet.
Oh.
So he's this kind of person, always be this kind of person with me. And then he got cancer, and for the first time in his life that he need my help, then I'm in the position that I can't even not even fly to Spain to help him with the operation. I don't have even £1 to send. Then my brother have to take all his savings, over 10,000 euros, all his savings that he saved for years, working really hard to save my dad's life. And was the money which was very important to save the life of my dad. So I went there, and I was in the situation of desperate. I remember that I was living shared accommodation flat in East London, and I couldn't sleep. I got anxiety. I couldn't live with myself. I feel like crying. I started to smoke, and from the dusty shelf of this shared accommodation flat, I took the book, and the book was Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki.
Right.
And that book talks about how can you have your own business, how you don't need to trade time for money,
Yeah.
how you can have your property business and pursue your financial freedom. So very basic context, but at that moment my life, this is all that I need to make a decision that I make a promise to myself that I will never ever allow myself to be in this situation again. When the people that I love are suffering and I cannot help them,
Yes.
I take that decision. So I read that book in 4 hours, and then it was 4 a.m. So by 4:30, around 5, I'm already like I said, I was already fired up. I was ready. So I take a shower, and I was very excited. So when the bank opened, the NatWest banks, I went there and I asked them for a loan. £3,000 was the maximum that they can lend me, because with my income and so on, they cannot lend me more than that. So I grabbed the £3,000, and then with the £3,000, I acquired my first rent-to-rent property. Today we have sold over £4 million, and we did run a large operation with the rent-to-rent. So the point of the story is that life will hit you hard, and you don't have to wait until something dramatic happen to you to become who you really want to become. So sometimes that's what happened to me. Until something really hard and dramatic doesn't happen to you, you don't take the action that you know that you should take for a long time ago. You stay in your comfort zone again and again and again.
Yes.
The point of the story that I want to share with all of you is this one: that don't wait until life hit you hard in order to fulfill your dream and to become what you want to become. Start to work on that from today, and the process is gonna be different.
Your story truly is inspiring. And of course, your portfolio gave you financial freedom, didn't it? Pretty quickly.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how fast did that happen once you'd kind of got the hang of it?
After I took this decision, then I took the first flat. Then I did something very very important, because if I said that I'm gonna be doing rent to rent and I'm gonna be renting the rooms, something that I did that was also very good. I said, okay, you know why? I want to work in the Hilton hotels. Why?
Yes.
Because what they do, they rent rooms, which is the same business that I want to do, right? So
Yeah.
I wanted to learn everything about renting rooms, about the whole operation. So what I did is I applied to work in the Hilton. Yeah, still my English was not good enough, so I couldn't qualify for the reception, but I qualified for room service.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, when I exactly started at the Hilton in the room service, I already acquired the first property. And when I left the Hilton after 2 years, exactly after 2 years, I was running over 9 properties. The income that the Hilton was giving me was around 1,200 to 1,500 pounds per month. And at the moment that I left the Hilton, I could make this income very easy in 4 hours by
Wow.
renting two rooms.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing.
so the same amount of money that I was making in 320 hours, I could make it in 4. Then I say, okay, you know what? I don't need the Hilton to work in the Hilton anymore, and that was 14 years ago.
That's incredible. So you see, London really is a city of opportunity, isn't it? It just
Oh
took
yeah.
you a while to find it. And it's a very, very common story with a lot of entrepreneurs that I speak to. that they struggle for a very, very long time until suddenly something changes, the tipping point happens. And then because they've persisted and they haven't given up, then all of a sudden that's it, and success finally does come. And of course, it came for you, which is amazing.
If you really are committed to becoming successful and make it happen to you, this city give you that opportunity regardless of your color of skin or where you're coming from. This is the truth because this is my own experience. I train them here in London, different background. They come from different countries. London will give the opportunity to anybody, I think, in any area of the business to actually progress, and that's why I love the city. I love it. I don't complain about the weather. I'm okay with it like this because if you're an entrepreneur, this is the city that you have to be because also give a lot of facilities and there is a lot of opportunity. Unfortunately, I don't spend so much time here in UK now because we run in international talks. So we do this workshop only once a year in London, maximum two. The reason
Yes.
for that is because we do the workshop in London, then we do it in Singapore, then we do it in Mexico, then we do it in Peru, and now we want to speak at the Independent Women's Conference in Dubai within 2 weeks. And there we're gonna open the conversation to start to deliver for next year speakers and leaders in Dubai as well. So the more countries we go, the less frequency that we can do the workshop here in London. And again, we also train companies. Lily, my partner, is also she's an expert in personal brand, and she help companies how to enhance the brand, help CEOs and entrepreneurs how to write their own book and you
Yes.
and enhance your personal brand with that. And I usually go with my partner Lily to Latin America overall. So over there we do corporate training. We do trainings to the companies in South America, in Mexico and Peru. Could be in a hotel chains, financial institutions, universities. We train them in different subjects like sales, team building. Depends because usually when we go to South America, sometimes we get hired to speak in the company. And what happened over there is that we say, okay, but what we have to talk about? And they said, no, let's go meet the CEO. So then we meet the CEO 2 days before, and then the CEO tell us everything.
Yes.
The employee is not arriving on time. They don't want to rotate. Sometimes these financial institutions in South America, there is interest of the company that the employees rotate because if they rotate, they learn more about all the different positions in that institution and creates more flexibility for the organization as well. So the management, they are very keen that the employees rotate so they learn of the position, but the employee, they don't want to do it, right?
Yes.
Everybody's comfortable in the spot and nobody wants to move, so there is a certain resistance, yeah. And then when we arrive, that's what we have to deal with, yeah. They
Okay.
give us
Yes.
the list. Okay, Harry and Lily, this is what happening. They're not arriving on time. They don't want to rotate. They don't want to do this. They want to do that. How can we solve the problem? So then Lily and I, we take all the information. We go back to the hotel and we tailor a workshop for them to address these issues. And then in less than than 1 hour is gone. Again, the power of storytelling. When we start to share our story with them and they're connecting with us. And it's very important that when we do this kind of training, we always design games, right?
Yes.
So we design games with the objective that we want to go. So we don't tell them you have to rotate. We tell them let's play a game and let's food. I remember that what we did that day, we took a lot of sheet of paper and then we leave one person on the corner just drawing by itself without rotation, and then we put like 5 or 6 teams and they start to rotate with the different pencils, so with the different colors marker. And what happened was that the drawing that the team that they were rotating produced, it was 100% more rich than the other drawing that the person was doing individually, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because the power of collaboration. Everybody go to a drawing, everybody added with the mind something else, and the end result were amazing, right? So they realized by themselves that if they rotate, they can create something amazing. It was very, very hard day because there were 150 of them. So we had to train 8 in the morning and 7 in the afternoon. It was 8 hours of training, 4 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. But at the end of the day, the whole goal was accomplished. Everyone was happy.
That's really amazing. Well, listen, Harry, I think we've come to the end of the podcast, but I just wanted to thank you so much for sharing your story and your activities and inspiring our listeners. You know, it's just so great to hear the story of somebody who came all the way from Cuba with next to nothing and managed to create the most incredible success that you have. So thank you, first of all, for just inspiring our listeners. It's been really great to have you here as a guest.
My pleasure, Jane.
All right, Harry. Well, listen, have a wonderful week and look forward to keeping in touch.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Smart Connector podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, why not head over to janebayler.com and order a copy of my free report on building your personal brand. I'd love to connect with you on social media. And finally, don't forget to like and subscribe to my podcast so that you never miss a show. Thanks for listening in and see you soon.